the structure that is obviously where the briefcases are hanging from. So not only do you have to climb all 10 floors of the building, but you have to go into the ring and you got to climb a ladder to get the briefcase.
And Otis, he tried to climb a ladder on SmackDown and it broke. It's unbelievable. Lacey Evans has this right strategy, though. She's been trying to figure out the floor plans and how to use the elevator. So,
right.
I see something where it's like somehow like, you know, Daniel Bryan and Otis, Rey Mysterio or something, they get in the elevator and then Corbin shuts the elevator down. He's like, ha ha ha, and then he's like, he goes to take the stairs and he thinks everything's going to be easy, but then then you get like a cut scene to like them in the elevator trying to get the elevator open, because they did this with the 24/7 title last year with EC3 and Drake Maverick and Titus Worldwide stuck in an elevator trying to get out, and then when they got out, everybody was ready to attack him to get the title belt. So I think you can see something like that again, but it's really going to be interesting. Does Vince McMahon go all the way with Otis here? Do you think Otis has any shot to win this match?
I want to say yes. I'm going to say no. But I wouldn't rule out Vince actually like having Otis in the main event at some point later on this year. I don't think he wins this match, but I don't think he should be the longest shot to win this match either.
So I didn't see the odds. Going before SmackDown, I thought Corbin was definitely going to win, but since he was standing tall, that usually eliminates him from doing that. My guess is that the favorite in the odds is probably AJ Styles.
And you would be correct.
So that's who I'd probably pick at this point, AJ Styles. They usually have people who have big losses come back and totally ignore that and get huge wins.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll do the men first, right? So, going through the odds, we got AJ Styles as the betting favorite. He's minus 125 to win the match, and I think that makes sense. I think that's appropriate. Styles coming back big. I think of all 6 guys in this match, we've seen Daniel Bryan and Corbin win the briefcase before. So of all the 6 guys, I think the Money in the Bank, like the gimmick of like keeping the briefcase and waiting out for the title match, I think that fits AJ Styles the best. So I agree with you. I think he's gonna, off the layoff, he's gonna come back big. He's gonna come back big here, and he's gonna win, right? But going through the rest of the odds, the second favorite in this match is Aleister Black, who's plus 200.
That would be brutal if he won. I mean, that would just be really... wouldn't make sense to me, because, you know, they're doing this weird booking with him, but no one is really getting behind it other than you and a few other people. So I just can't see this guy being a world champion.
He's not a guy you can... He's not a Money in the Bank guy.
Right.
Because you need the Money in the Bank guy to... If he's a face, then he's got to be somebody that the fans either really, really love, in this case, like somebody like Otis, or it's got to be, most of the time, it's going to be a heel who basically comes out with the briefcase every week and he says, I'm like a guarantee I'm going to win like the world championship, right? And then he proceeds to lose every single match he has until the point where he cashes in the briefcase and wins. That's like wrestling 101. Mm-hmm. So Black is plus 200. Otis is the third favorite. He's plus 400. And then the 3 vets of the match, Daniel Bryan's plus 600, Baron Corbin is plus 800, and Rey Mysterio is the longest shot on the board at plus 1,200, which I thought was interesting because I think of the other guys in this match, I think Mysterio would have a more likely chance to win than Bryan and Corbin, only because he hasn't won the briefcase before. Right. So that was interesting to me.
Now, do you envision a scenario where we're seeing, I don't know, Rey Mysterio giving a 619 to Nia Jax giving a Samoan drop to Rey Mysterio, Asuka kicking Baron Corbin's face off? What do you think? Yeah. There's going to definitely be some sort of back and forth going on between the men and women in this match, especially when we're at the top, when everybody's climbing the ladder at the same time, most likely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think it's likely we see Nia Jax getting involved because we've seen her getting involved with the boys before. Remember when she took He was not only the 619 in the Royal Rumble, but she took an RKO, which was undoubtedly the highlight of last year's Royal Rumble match. The one moment that people remember the most.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's very, very possible. I'm shocked no Mandy, only because of Otis. I figured like you would see them together, like trying.
Right, and I think I said this to you last week, where they could have had them both in the match, and Otis gets to the top, right, and he could easily win the men's, but he decides to get the briefcase for Mandy to show his love, and he lets her become Money in the Bank.
Right.
Winner.
And then his reward is that Mandy starts dating somebody in real life. So.
Right.
So you can't trust women.
Do you see a scenario where we saw last year where, Lesnar came in, F5, do you see maybe Cena coming in with an AA or just a random person showing up and saying, I'm taking the Money in the Bank briefcase, or is it going to definitely be one of these participants?
No, it's definitely going to be one of these guys and gals.
All right. So what do you think is going to be the big spot here? I mean, the usual spot people aren't in here. You don't got Kofi. You don't have Naomi. You don't have Apollo Crews. And we'll talk about Apollo Crews in a second because apparently he's going to be involved heavily in booking moving forward here with a big heel turn. So you think there's going to be any spots? And if so, who are they going to come from? I would say we're probably going to, if it's a ladder spot, it's going to be Styles and Mysterio. We're going to be doing something for that. Other than that, I don't know whether there's going to be a lot of spots, I think, because remember, they're going through the whole office. They'll probably have a fake set up Mr. McMahon's office and do something in there. Because you could see something where Aleister Black damages the office and Vince finds him or something like that, and that could be a storyline. Or Triple H's office or something like that.
I think somebody's going to get thrown out a window.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I wouldn't say this is going to happen from the roof because I feel like that's too dangerous.
Well, since it's being shot, I mean, they could do a stunt double, and not a double thing, but like just like a fake, not a real body, and just throw like a doll off the roof.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've already set up a stunt.
Because if you put a mask on a doll, it looks just like Rey Mysterio.
Right, I agree. Yeah, I think somebody's going out a window. I don't know who it is, but somebody. Actually, believe it or not, if I had to pick somebody who's going to go out the window, I think it's going to be Corbin.
Wow.
Because Corbin is their steady hand. Like, if they need somebody to get the snot kicked out of him, or if they need somebody to take, like, an embarrassing, like, ass kicking or something, or, like, doing an embarrassing thing, like, Corbin is the guy. Because I can't see Mysterio doing it, right? Daniel Bryan won't do it. Styles just got freaking buried, literally, at WrestleMania. It's not going to be him. And they clearly like both Aleister Black and Otis. So of all the guys, Corbin is the most likely, right?
Right, and you could see him going out early, and then he shows up at the end. Who, out of the 11 participants in this match, who is most likely to get their neck bitten by Shayna Baszler or their arm stomped down by Shayna Baszler?
Probably Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke. All right.
Just a second.
And then Money in the Bank women's match. I don't know the favorites, but I'm going to roll with Nia Jax in this one. Who do you got?
All right. Well, we'll go through the betting favorites quick. There are no favorites, but the lowest odds is Shayna Baszler, who's plus 150. So that tells you that nobody knows what's going to happen in this match. So we got Baszler's plus 150. Nia Jax is plus 300, which I think is actually pretty good value. So if you find some underground offshore website to bet on, or if you want to probably, I don't know if you could go through like DraftKings or FanDuel. That's a good question. I don't know. But if you want to put in bets and you want to try to find a bet, Nia Jax is plus 300, which I think is really good value. Lacey Evans is plus 400. Asuka is plus 600. And then Dana Brooke and Carmella round out at plus 700 and plus 1,000. So obviously Carmella, being a two-time Money in the Bank contract winner, remember she won it twice, she's getting the short end of the stick here.
How about James Ellsworth making his return and him going through the window or off the roof?
I don't think Vince thinks fans remember James Ellsworth.
All right. So, what role are the Hacker and Apollo Crews going to play in this pay-per-view, if any?
That's interesting because we've seen Apollo Crews kind of have beef with Zelina and her boys, and as it stands right now, we don't know if they're going to be on the show at all.
And also, Apollo Crews is not medically cleared to compete, so maybe they hold off on this for a bit. And the Hacker, I think the worst thing that's going to happen to whoever the Hacker is him actually debuting, because after that, there's nothing else. He's just going to be a wrestler.
Yeah, I think they probably realize that there's more suspense in trying to figure out who it is. Even though we kind of have an idea of who it is, it's probably going to be either Mustafa Ali or Chad Gable, or in some case, like I've seen some people say it could be both. I think that's a dumb idea. But
you know what the funny thing is probably right now it's neither of them, because there's so many times when WWE makes up these characters or vignettes and stuff, and then then they just run with it for months, and then like, oh, we probably got to make this debut now. Let's have somebody play them. I mean, we've heard of like Justin Gabriel saying like I forget who he played, like he was doing something under a mask, and they're like, we're not going to go with you, or something like that. Crazy storylines in the past.
Right, and we've seen it with the anonymous general manager. They ran with it, and they had no plan for it, which was dumb because they literally had the anonymous Raw GM like interrupt the freaking main event of WrestleMania, and then nobody ever knew who it was. And it was Hornswoggle, but whatever.
See, I thought that Eric Rowan should have had maybe Hornswoggle in his cage instead of the Spider or something like that. Or Aleister Black in the cage. I don't know. That was another storyline where they just like, carry around a cage. Is that all right?
Yeah, well, they I think they tried to push Eric Rowan as like a legitimate big man, and it just didn't work out. And the fans weren't really buying it. They weren't really taking into it. Every time he was showing up on TV, it was kind of like the low point of the night. It was kind of like the bathroom break segment. So in order to make Drew look stronger, because he was pretty hot on the road to WrestleMania, they had Drew destroy the cage, which I totally understand. Like, they killed the angle, it wasn't working, whatever, abort mission. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work. That's the thing about wrestling fans. Wrestling fans expect like everything to work. That's not how it works. You know, it's like sports. It's like stepping them to the batter's box. If you hit 300, that's really, really good. You know, in wrestling, if you hit 500 and you hit on half your angles, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? All things considering. So, but yeah.
Yeah, speaking of baseball, hopefully that's back soon. But that's going to do it for this crazy edition of the You Know I'm Right podcast. We talked A-Rod and J-Lo not buying the Mets, Jay Cutler and Kristin Cavallari, and of course, Money in the Bank. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next time right here on You Know I'm Right.